All right, so the big question. Do I use my TV apps or do I go and get a Roku, Amazon Fire TV stick, or an Apple TV? We get this question a lot here at Harmonic Series. For most of our racks, we tend to run Apple TVs, and there's a big specific reason behind this. We usually use automated systems such as Josh AI or Savant in our systems, even Crestron, depending on the scenario, where with those, it's a lot easier for us to get a solid like viewing experience from an Apple TV. The reason I will suggest going with one of these over the TV apps is due to app slowdown and degradation, right? So the big thing is those TV apps will degrade over time and you will start to see a performance drop happen on those TVs. It could be sometimes as early as 2 years or as long as 6 or 7 years down the road. But with an Apple TV, you will have a consistent viewing experience the whole time. There is one other thing to take in note though. If you have something like an Xbox One or a PS5 or PS4, you may be better off just using that. As long as the app support for the apps that you're trying to watch are there, then you already have something that can usually play in 4K up to 120 hertz with HDR or Dolby Vision already enabled, and you won't have to go out and spend potentially up to another $150 to $200 on a streaming device. But at the end of the day, these devices are there to help increase or to bring up the usability of the display or even bring up the usability of the panel for the picture processing. We tend to see often, depending on the brand, Sony may be one of those other brands that is not inherently going to fall into this category right away, but is not an exception, is that when you add an Apple TV or Roku, you may see a giant increase in color accuracy, representation, and things like that from the TV. Sony, like I said, is slightly different due to them being far more true to director's intent with their TVs. You actually get certain benefits with Prime Video and Netflix with Sony's that you don't get with other brands. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. The reason we use it as an integrator with those devices is that it's a lot easier to control than trying to have the TV run these different processes alongside of trying to process the image, where we just basically use the Apple TV as an image processor and the TV just works as a nice display. So if anything goes bad or the apps are not working, I can actually just replace that piece instead of replacing the whole TV. But it's up to you. If you're using your home setup, just simply, you're not using smart remotes or anything like that, absolutely use the Apple TV, your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Roku, Fire Stick, whatever you want to use. If you find it far more comfortable or something that's more familiar, feel free to use that. There's no right or wrong answer there. The big thing is just keep in mind, after a while, those TV apps tend to fall off or they tend to slow down performance of the TV, and you start seeing a lot of sluggishness from those TVs. And at that point, your TV is not inherently just done with either. You can still go to the store, buy just a basic Apple TV, basic Roku, or whatever the case may be, hook it up. You should see an increase in your response time for watching apps and things like that, since that becomes the processor there. Just something kind of simple to think about. If you have any more questions though, or you want insight, consulting, or any type of help, give us a holler over at harmonicseries.com and we'll be more than happy to take care of you guys there. Thanks.